What do you think will happen to our housing market if we see a 50% decline in buyer demand while also seeing a 50% increase in seller supply? Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Market Watch. My name is Joshua Barks with Keller Williams Realty Boise and the Barks & Co. real estate team. In this series, we discuss what's going on in Ada County's existing housing market on a week-over-week basis. We also cover the monthly market dynamics and talk a little bit about our predictions as well. And this week, we're seeing pretty much more of the same, and as predicted, with the 2020 election looming, both supply of available homes and the demand for those available homes appears to be on a slight decline, so a cooling, if you were. Not by a lot, but after 19 consecutive weeks of inventory on a steady decline, we actually had an increase last week, and that led me to believe that the week prior was our floor with 241 available homes in Ada County. We went 241 to 246. Now we hit another historic low of 232 available homes in all of Ada County. And the most notable part of the numbers this week is our 134 new listings that hit the market in the last 7 days. Last week, we had 168 new listings that hit the market in the last 7 days prior to that. And we actually haven't seen the week over week new listings at this number all summer. They haven't been this low since March and April of this year. And then what some people have asked me as well is, well, what do we see during a normal year? Not COVID related. Well, this same time last October, so October of 2019, this same week period, we saw about 30 more new listings hit the market on that week over week basis. Now, I'm not talking about the overall supply versus demand because, as we know, it's a different year. But the week over week new listings, we are still trailing behind what we saw this same time last year. Every week so far, we've been lower than that number. And demand is continuing on a slight downward trend as well. So overall, last week we had 895 homes that were under contract, with 189 of those going under contract in the last 7 days. This week, we have 860 that are under contract overall, and 180 went under contract in the last 7 days. So we're seeing demand decrease a little bit as well. Not by much. The number of sales decreased for the week over week at 197 this week versus 220 that last week. Pretty typical for what we have been seeing, because the number of sales, even with the battle of historically low inventory rates and ridiculously high demand, we are experiencing more sales this year than what we had last year. In fact, this time last year, we have about 100 less sold last year. So this year we've sold 100 more homes in the month of September, October than what we saw last year, which is pretty incredible, especially with it being an election year. And that raises the question for a lot of people. And so let's run through kind of this hypothetical situation. If demand were to drop by 50% and we just all of a sudden, a bunch of people decided they didn't want to buy houses in Ada County anymore. And then at the same time, sellers are like, man, market is so good, let's just list right now. And we had an increase in the number of available homes by 50%. So demand decreases by half. So instead of 860, we have 430 available or under contracts. And in Ada County, we saw the increase by 50%. So about 100 more available homes. So that's still only 345, 47, 50. 350, we'll make the number easy. 350 versus 450 demand. So what we're seeing there, that would still be a ridiculously strong seller's market. So for those of you that are thinking about, man, maybe I don't want to buy because I should wait till the market gets better. Well, even if we saw half of the buyers that are buying right now go away, we're still in a really strong seller's market. even with inventory staying the same. Now, if it increases, say it increases by double, so we have 400 available homes, 460 available homes in Ada County. Sorry, I can't do math right now. And that's still 400 available homes, 460 available homes in Ada County with 430 pending. That's still an incredibly strong market for supply and demand. So all signs indicate that we're in for a very strong winter. And inventory, while I still predict inventory will come up a little bit as demand cools down, at least I'm hoping it comes up a little bit, because these numbers are still lower than what we typically see during winter months, which makes me wonder, what are we going to experience this winter? Are we going to have an increase and have an amazing, awesome December and January like we had a few years ago, where we had a record-breaking December in 2017, I believe was the year? Well, let's just have to stay tuned and find out. When it comes to interest rates, they are still on a downward trend, not by much. They went down literally 0.01%. So instead of 2.81 on a national average for the 30-year fix, they're at 2.8. So still incredibly low interest rates, which is spurring that demand. And what we're seeing overall is a really strong housing market going into the winter months. So if you have any questions, please reach out and let me know. I'll cover that in future videos or get back to you with a one-on-one talking about your specific situation. I want to make sure that I'm educating you and that you're getting all the information that you and your family need in order to make informed decisions about what you're going to do regarding real estate and your relationship to that. So reach out to me anytime. My number is 208-914-1095. Of course, you can always comment on this video below or send me an email or visit my website. All of those are great. And I will see you next Friday for another wrap up of the last 7 days. Thanks so much again, and we'll see you then.